Hi there. The topic of today's video is going to be some simple repair techniques, give you some ideas how you can repair your model after a whoops, make it structurally strong again and get it back to a nice looking finish that you'd be proud to show your mates. Unfortunately I don't have anything, well fortunately I don't have anything broken to work on to show you. So I'm just going to be able to outline some ideas and give you a few things to think about. So I'll grab a few models and we'll have a looky. Okay. The first problem we're going to look at is your fairly typical, you've landed and you've either run on into your shin or you've hit a fence post or a tree and you've got a lovely big chunk taken out of your leading edge of your wing. This technique will work for either a moulded wing or a bagged wing. There's really not much difference between them. Okay, so let's imagine there's a bit of a chunk taken out here. Okay, the first thing you need to do is you need to cut back until you get to an undamaged portion of the wing. And you may have to cut back all the way to the spar, and you want to cut back on a bit of an angle, like so, okay, to open up that area until you get back to the undamaged portion. Okay, what I would do then is what I've got here is a piece of 1/4 inch carbon tube. Okay, across the area that's been cut out, okay, I would cut a piece of tubing and glue it across where the leading edge goes. Okay, and that just it helps transfer that leading edge strength along. What you do after that is cut two blocks of foam to fit into there, and you rebate the leading edge of the foam to fit around your carbon rod. Yeah. So then you glue your two bits of foam together from the top and bottom, neatly filling the gap with the carbon rod in the middle across the top. Okay, and then after that it's a fairly simple case of sanding and a light layer of glass, or a couple of light layers of glass, followed by filling and painting. Really not that difficult, it's quite a simple repair really. When it starts to get more complicated is if you have damaged your spar. Okay, you can reinforce the spar by using some pre-preg carbon or some pre-cured rods or beams or whatever, but you must get that spar back up to strength. If you fail to get that spar back up to strength, then the prettiest repair in the world is going to really do you no good. Okay, the second thing we're going to look at is fuselages. Okay, quite commonly you get a break just in front of the wing or just behind the wing if you get a bit of a sideways landing going on. Okay, down the boom is quite common. You get a whipping effect, you get a crease. So we'll look at that one first because that one's fairly simple. Okay, so let's imagine there's a crease here just behind the wing. What you can do is you need to temporarily sino or something to get the fuselage straight again. Okay, if you've got a friend with an identical model, what you can do is use their model and make up a jig. Okay, just a good straight board, a bit of plaster of Paris under the nose, in the middle, either side of the brake and down the tail, and just 2 or 3 blobs really of plaster of Paris. Just give your fuselage a good layer of even Vaseline or something like that will be enough, and that gives you a jig to get things straight again. Okay, there's no point in doing a beautiful repair if you've not got it straight. So anyway, you've made your jig from your friend's model. Okay, and what you need to do is just clean out the damaged area. Okay, you want to use a Dremel or something and just grind away either side, sort of thin out the area of the fuselage. Okay, what I would do then, I'd strip the paint, sanding the paint a couple inches either side, and I'd build up layers of carbon. First one would be quite a short layer, second one a bigger layer, and so on, and eventually you just work that right up, and on about your second or third layer you'd be looking at wrapping the whole boom really. Okay, right around there. Okay, so just wet that out with epoxy, and you can even just use electrical tape, okay, to wrap it, to squeeze the epoxy out and force it into all the carbon fibres. Okay, similar sort of thing. I have a lot of these sort of fuselages, they'll have a weak point through here or something like that. I've got a friend who breaks one quite regularly, and you may have to strip out all the servos and the radiator gear and that sort of thing. And this friend actually, he's come up with some pretty good repairs in the past. He's pretty much broken his fuselage right through here, and what he does is he'll lay up a piece of that's 4 or 5 inches long. He'll lay up a thin sheet of carbon just on a plastic sheet or a piece of mylar, and once that's cured, it's being a thin sheet, it's flexible enough to pop in there, and it sort of holds its shape. So what he does is, first step obviously is to do that, rough everything up using the jig, get everything straight, sino it back together so that it's together pretty well, and then on the inside lay your pre-cured carbon in, and you can just you can then use a balloon, a normal standard kid's balloon, blow it up good and hard in there, and it forces all the stuff into the corners, all the epoxy into the corners and all the cloth into the corners, and you just repeat that as many layers as you feel is necessary to get the strength. You can build another layer up over the outside if you need to, some light glass, sand, paint, and away you go. It's nothing that's particularly difficult or hard, you just got to be pretty methodical about it, and look at what layers are required to get back to your original strength. So there we go. It's pretty basic really. Look around on the internet, there's plenty of people out there that have broken aeroplanes and documented some very good repair threads. Unfortunately I'm not one of them. I don't break my models very often. When I do, I usually write them off completely. So I haven't actually had to use these techniques myself, but they're out there. Ask someone who's done it before, ask someone in your club, look around, and you'll get the advice and the help that you need. On the field, actually like beer cans, Coke cans wrapped around the leading edge can be a good temporary repair if you want to keep flying that day. Strapping tape, sino, all important stuff, they have their places. So anyway, hope that gives you some ideas and some basics to work on should you need, unfortunately, to have to do those repairs yourself in the future. Thank you for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time.